What if I told you there's a volcano so massive it could swallow Mount Everest whole, that invisible oceans are floating above your head right now, and that depending on where you stand on Earth, time itself actually moves differently for you? The world is far stranger than it looks. The deeper scientists explore, the more reality starts to feel completely broken. Today, we're diving into 6 unbelievable facts that will shatter your sense of size, distance, and how the universe really works. Let's start with something that sounds completely fake. The Pacific Ocean is so enormous that the moon could fit across it nearly 5 times. And it gets even crazier. You could take every single continent on Earth, place them all inside the Pacific Ocean, and there would still be millions of square miles of empty water left over. It's so large that from space, the Pacific doesn't feel like an ocean anymore. It feels like an entire world made of water. Space feels impossibly far away, but in reality, it's shockingly close. The official edge of space is only about 62 miles above Earth. That's closer than the distance many people travel just to visit another city. If you could drive straight upward at highway speed, you'd reach space in under an hour. The universe we imagine as infinitely distant is technically closer to you right now than a weekend road trip. Now imagine standing in front of a mountain so gigantic that Earth has nothing even close to compare to it. On Mars, there's a volcano called Olympus Mons, the largest volcano ever discovered. It rises about 16 miles high, making Mount Everest look tiny in comparison. But the height isn't even the craziest part. Olympus Mons is so unbelievably wide that if you placed it on Earth, it would stretch across an entire U.S. state. Standing at its summit wouldn't even feel like standing on a mountain because the sides are so massive they disappear beyond the curve of the planet itself. Now here's a real place on Earth that feels like a glitch in reality. In the middle of the Bering Strait sit 2 tiny islands only 2.4 miles apart. One belongs to the United States, the other belongs to Russia. But here's the bizarre part. The international date line cuts directly between them, creating a time difference of nearly an entire day. So if you stand on one island and look across the water, you're not just seeing another country, you're looking into tomorrow. That's why people nickname them Yesterday Island and Tomorrow Island. If Earth's oceans feel enormous, this next fact makes them look microscopic. Astronomers discovered a gigantic cloud of water vapor floating deep in space around a distant black hole, and the amount of water inside it is almost impossible to comprehend. This single cloud contains about 140 trillion times more water than every ocean on Earth combined. It's the largest reservoir of water ever discovered, drifting silently through the darkness of the universe, which means space isn't just empty. In some places, it's overflowing. And finally, let's put Pluto's size into perspective, because it's way smaller than most people realize. Pluto feels massive in our minds because it's a world floating out in space, but in reality, it's unbelievably tiny. Russia alone actually has more surface area than the entire dwarf planet. Think about that for a second. One country on Earth is larger than an entire world orbiting the sun. Suddenly, Pluto doesn't feel like a planet anymore. It feels like a frozen little rock lost in the darkness. When you really think about it, reality is far stranger than fiction. Our world can feel enormous one moment and unbelievably tiny the next. Oceans larger than imagination, mountains that dwarf Everest, islands separated by time itself, and somewhere out there, entire worlds smaller than a single country on Earth.